I have been fired from over 10 jobs, and now I run my own business, which I have had for 4.5 years. Before having my own business, I could never keep a job for longer than a month or two. The longest I kept a job before my own business was almost a year when I was at university and I was working in a kitchen. When you lose a job, it is not the end of the world. Let me tell you this, I wouldn't have my own business right now if I wasn't fired so many times. You know, the traditional route that we are sold and follow in school is that we study, we're told that we have to have a degree or higher education to make money, to be employed, to be successful. And then we go to college, we get our qualifications, we go to university, and then hopefully we have a career as a doctor, as a lawyer, as a teacher. But the thing is, that's the life that we're sold. But then on the flip side of things, we have the internet, we have social media, we see people making money for themselves, we see people starting their own businesses with no qualifications. You know? What seems wilder than that? You're going to work every day to a job that you hate, you're struggling to live, you're just about paying your bills, you can't pay your debts off, you're buying drugs, you're going out on a weekend to escape the reality of your life. And then there's people online making more money than you, sat by the beach, living on their own, making limitless amounts of money because they are working on their own businesses, you know? So that creates such a conflict. You don't want to keep going to work. You don't want to get up at 6, 7, 8 a.m. every morning. Why should you when there's other people living easier? My parents, and I love my parents, and of course they have always wanted the best for me, but they would tell me, get a proper job. Welcome to the real world. Things like that. But the real world now is that we do have the freedom and we do have the ability to set our own businesses up online. And when I tell you that I was fired over 10 times, I've had apprenticeships, I've had full-time employed jobs, I've worked in sales for phone companies, I've worked in customer service for electronics companies, I've had apprenticeships in solicitors, lawyers, I've worked at mortgage advisors, I've worked in kitchens, I've worked in bars, I've worked for a social media marketing company, like loads of different experience. And I don't think that I would be sat here with my own business if I didn't do that. And that's why I'm telling you that you losing a job is not the end of the world. You quitting a job is not the end of the world. Because if you want to build your life up to something that you enjoy and something that requires experience in multiple areas and you want to run your own business, you have to try different things. Maybe in an alternate universe, I would have tried these jobs, kept getting fired, and maybe on my 10th job, I enjoyed it and I found something I loved. But for me, I didn't want to work for somebody else under their routine. When I saw people online living with so much freedom, doing things they enjoyed, and seeing that we live in a world where it's possible to make a living doing something that you enjoy. And after getting fired, it was always the same terrible routines, you know? It was disappointing my parents. It was disappointing the people I owed money to. It was disappointing myself. Every time it feels like the end of the world. Every time you feel like a failure, you get upset, you feel useless, you're frustrated. You think you can't do anything right. You think you're lost. You think you're hopeless. You think you'll never figure it out. But that's absolutely not the case. And you get up. You find another job. And sometimes people don't make a change until it's absolutely necessary, until it's too late. People might not work on their health until they have high blood pressure or they have a heart attack, you know? People might not work on their finances until their house gets repossessed or the car gets repossessed. Like, people leave it late. And for me, I started my business from desperation because after being fired, I can't remember, it was between 10 and 15 jobs I was fired from. And after the last time, I just got to a point and I was like, I cannot keep doing this. I need to make money for myself. Because trying to work for other people, trying to force myself to go to a job that I don't want to, trying to ask for pay rises and getting shouted at. The world we're in today, it seems wild to me that somebody could shout at you for asking for more money. It's your time. It's your life. There's nothing more valuable than time that you will never get back. So if you aren't being paid enough for your time, you absolutely deserve to be. And that was one of the tipping points for me. I asked my boss, and all credits to the guy that I worked for. He was a mentor for me in lots of different areas in life, and I'm so grateful for the experience of working there. But I asked at one point if I could be paid more because I felt like I was stressing myself out for the amount I was being paid. And it did not go down well. He sat me down, he shouted at me, he said, you get money when you deserve it. And I understand that now from a business perspective, you know, you want people to work hard and you don't want people to take. It's your living, it's your business. But that was a tipping point for me. And I was like, if someone refuses me to pay more, if someone refuses to pay me more for my time, then I have to earn more myself for my time. And if you have no ideas for a business, if you've been fired, if you don't have a job, if you're doing a job you don't enjoy, just don't put so much pressure on yourself right now, because as I told you, my idea for my vintage clothing business came from pure desperation, from trying so many times that I had to try another option. So keep trying things, you know? If you lose a job, go for another. Learn communication skills. You don't have to put on your CV that you've been sacked loads of times. Do you think that got me a job? Like, I didn't put on my CV, yeah, I've been sacked 10 times, please employ me, you know? Just prove that you're an employable person and you're committed to change and you're willing to work and put yourself out there and just keep messing up, you know? Because the more you mess up, the more you will realize about yourself. The more you mess up, the more you'll learn. The more you mess up, the more you'll change. And the more you'll be forced to grow and to be pushed towards doing something that you enjoy. And that's how I got my business after being fired so many times, you know? I wasn't in a 9-to-5 and the idea magically came to me. It came from desperation, and it came from failing so many times that I had to try. Because if you try something so many times and you keep failing over and over and over and over again to the point that it's detrimental for yourself and people around you, then you're doing something wrong. You have to do something different. So the moral of this is, if you've been fired, if you've failed, it's not the end of the world. And you're 1, 2, 3 failures away from creating a life that you love and doing something that you do enjoy. Thank you for watching.